Hi, we're the Illuminati.
Hi.
Hello, initiates, and welcome to Module 1 of the Illumicorp video training course. I would like to officially welcome you as a member of the team.
Hi, we're the Illuminati.
We'll also need to film you in a lewd act with a minor to use as blackmail if you ever think of telling anyone about anything that happened here today.
Now, could I self-tape that, or is that something that you'd want me to shoot here?
We'd like you to do that here.
Jeffrey Epstein was recently found dead in a New York jail cell. He had been convicted on sex trafficking of underage girls. He was allegedly responsible for setting up politicians and important businessmen in compromising positions with underage girls to be used as a form of blackmail. This form of blackmail isn't new and has been being used since before the Kennedy administration. In this video, we will take a look into the alleged blackmail rings Jeffrey Epstein was a part of.
Archbishop, you knew it was a crime for an adult to engage in sex with a kid.
I'm not sure whether I knew it was a crime or not. I understand today it's a crime.
When did you first discern that it was a crime for a priest to engage in sex with a kid who he had under his control?
I don't remember that either.
Like, how about the Catholic Church? How many sex scandals? How many pedophile scandals does it take before you lose tax-exempt status?
We took their babies and we gifted them, or we sold them, or we trafficked them, or we starved them, or we neglected them, or we denied them, to the point of their disappearance from our hearts and from our sight, from our country, and in the case of Tuam, and possibly other places, from life itself.
But, you know, we still have to ask questions about whether there was a system or a culture that was specific, peculiar to the church, that allowed these crimes to happen and to be covered up.
We are joined now by Pennsylvania Attorney General Josh Shapiro. Josh, good morning to you. Thanks for coming by.
Morning.
The grand jury there in Pennsylvania, it unearthed what's described as secret archives from the Catholic Church. And those archives reportedly show a systematic cover-up of child sex abuse in Pennsylvania. What else did those secret archives show? Who had access to those archives?
23 grand jurors met for 2 years in Pennsylvania. They unearthed over 301 predator priests, more than 1,000 victims, children in Pennsylvania. They found that there was not only widespread sexual abuse, rape of children, but they found that there was a systematic cover-up that went all the way to the Vatican. It's horrifying to think what these men of God did to these children, and then to have the cover-up that quite literally was very purposeful. They were doing it to shield these predator priests from law enforcement. We have evidence that the Vatican had knowledge of the cover-up, whether it's in Hollywood, whether it's at universities, whether it's in government centers, and certainly whether it's at the church, putting their own institutional reputation above the welfare of children. We will not tolerate that in Pennsylvania. We shouldn't tolerate it anywhere. Child rape in 1970 is the same as child rape in 2018. It is never acceptable, and it is never okay to cover it up.
We bring in Mike Resendiz. He won a Pulitzer as a member of the Boston Globe Spotlight team, which of course uncovered a similar pattern of sex abuse within the Catholic Church in Boston. Michael, good morning.
Good morning.
You know, you look at this and you think, okay, this is Pennsylvania. It doesn't even include Philadelphia, but it's, you know, greater Pennsylvania. But the sense is that every state in America could have a report like this if they looked into it. Is that the case?
I think that's absolutely true. I think if there were an attorney general in every major city in America that wanted to investigate this, they would find pretty much the same thing. The story is the same, whether it's Boston or Pennsylvania or Tucson or Los Angeles or Ireland,
globally. Yeah.
Ireland, Australia, Chile. It's the same. The depravity is the same. The criminality is the same. And the cover-up's the same.
Yeah, but before you can do a special on a major cable network, we're going to need you to sign some things.
Okay, sounds good.
We're also going to need you to swear a blood oath to us and our cause. And if you violate this oath, we're going to murder you and everyone that you love.
Got it. Great.
You'll also need to pledge your soul to Baphomet. He's this god that we all worship.
Okay. He looks pretty cool. He's like a crazy goat man kind of thing.
Well, finally, we're going to need a suicide note in your own handwriting just in case things get crazy.
I actually might have an old one on me. I'm sort of a pack rat.
I think we're good. Trevor, do you have any questions for us?
Yeah. Who killed Kennedy?
A French sniper, but it was set up by Lyndon Johnson.
You're right. Sorry, that was a stupid question. Are aliens real?
Aliens are real.
What are they like?
You know, some are very cool, some are kind of shitty. We're pretty tight with the shitty ones.
The U.S. Navy has finally acknowledged that videos appearing to show UFOs flying through the air are real.
This was extremely abrupt, like a ping pong ball bouncing off a wall. The ability to hover over the water and then start a vertical climb from basically zero up towards about 12,000 feet and then accelerate in less than 2 seconds and disappear is something I had never seen in my life.
But it was run by a military intelligence official who told CNN they found compelling evidence that we, quote, may not be alone. Randy Kay, CNN, New York.
The U.S. Navy just made a stunning admission. Naval officials yesterday confirmed that 3 separate UFO videos released by the New York Times in 2017 and previewed on the show are actually genuine. They do, in fact, show aerial phenomenon the Navy cannot explain, and that, in fact, our understanding of physics cannot explain. There's obviously some reason they're not telling us. In 15 seconds, hypothesize as to what that reason might be.
Well, some secret too terrible to be told, but I think we should be told, or at least we should be hinted at.
Hello, my name is Gaborkulax the Empath, and I'm the founder of Zarnaps for the Ethical Treatment of Humans. When we Zarnaps discovered Earth 10 sun cycles ago, we were horrified at the way humans abuse the other animals in this planet, and we pledged to do better. But some Zarnaps started eating a few humans here, a few humans there. Before you know it...
When your 7 stomachs are a-grumbling, don't reach for the Quesnar fruit. Grill up some fresh human, then you know what to do. Human meat, great for family dinners.
Billions of humans are exploited every year in Zarnap Industries. It's big business now. Oh, excuse me, miss. Do you have a moment for human babies?
I have to get to work.
Just 1 second, just here.
Humans used for food are kept in rows of cages like these.
The United Nations says growing numbers of African migrants passing through Libya are being sold as slaves by traffickers or militia groups before being held for ransom. The UN's migration agency interviewed West African migrants who told of being bought and sold in garages and car parks in the southern city of Sabah, one of Libya's main migrant smuggling hubs.
Most of us are now fat.
IQ scores have been declining steadily for decades, and a new study says environmental factors are to blame.
You may believe that when you die, your organs will only be taken if you are a registered organ donor, and then will be given to those in need. But that's not always the case. When you die, the hospital must call an organ and tissue procurement company to report your death. This is the law, even if you haven't signed up to donate your organs. If you register to be a donor, the company can immediately harvest your organs and tissues. For registered donors, procurement companies don't need approval from a family member, and if family members disagree with the donation, they can't stop it. These companies say they view every person who dies as a potential donor of bones, skin, and other tissues. If you have not signed up as a donor, the company will ask your family members to allow them to harvest your body parts anyway. If the coroner or hospital can't find your family, the company can still harvest your organs and tissues. California law says that a hospital executive or the coroner can make you a donor if they can't find your next of kin after a 12-hour search. The tissues the companies want, including your skin, bones, veins, fat, and those tissues are worth a lot of money. A single body can supply the raw materials for products that sell for hundreds of thousands of dollars.
That was over very quickly. We walked in, and as soon as we walked in, the men started covering their faces. But they clearly wanted to finish what they were doing, and they kept bringing out what they kept referring to in Arabic as al-budaa, the merchandise. All in all, they admitted to us that there were 12 Nigerians that were sold in front of us. And I honestly don't know what to say. That was probably one of the most unbelievable things I've ever seen. It's hard to believe that these are the lucky ones, rescued from warehouses like the one in which we witnessed the auction. They're sold if those warehouses become overcrowded or if they run out of money to pay their smugglers.
Have you heard about people being auctioned off, about migrants being sold?
Honestly, we hear the rumors, but there is nothing that's obvious in front of us. We don't have evidence.
But we now do. CNN has delivered this evidence to the Libyan authorities, who have promised to launch an investigation so that scenes like this are returned to the past.
It can be rough, but if we don't speak up for humans, who will? It's not like they can help themselves. They're pretty stupid.
Okay, so why do you want to eat humans?
I worry about protein. Isn't human flesh the only way to get it?
No, there are actually a lot of easy ways.
Oh my god, you guys, what about human bacon?
Yes.
There's nothing better than waking up to the fresh smell of thick-cut human bacon.
Oh.
2/3 of adults are overweight or obese, and so are 1/4 of our kids. The strangulating mass of fat around our body organs.
Multi-million-dollar operation. Terry's making money off of it. The hospitals are making money off of it. The middlemen are making money off of it. And we talk about money. We're talking about a multi-million-dollar operation.
We had witnesses of disappearances. People who'd been examined and then had disappeared, busloads, entire prison wards which had been emptied out. The signs began to look like something much, much bigger. Witnesses of disappearances, people who'd been examined and then had disappeared, busloads, entire prison wards which had been emptied out. The signs began to look like something much, much bigger.
Taking action for you.
And first at 6, the investigation of a business deal that deals in human body parts shifting from Detroit to Chicago as the feds launch a new raid.
And once again, hundreds of families will be left wondering if the bodies of loved ones have been bought and sold on the black market.
7 Action News investigator Jim Kirchner is here tonight with a story you'll see only on 7. Jim?
Is there a network of these satanic murderers in this country, do you allege?
Based on information furnished to me by confidential sources and informants, based on interviews with dozens of survivors from the satanic operations through the years, satanic beliefs, etc., I can say that there is a network of these people across the country.
IQ scores have been declining steadily for decades, and a new study says environmental factors are to blame. Researchers analyzed the IQ scores of Norwegian men born between 1962 and 1991. Findings show scores fell for those born after 1975. Similar studies in Denmark, Britain, France, the Netherlands, Finland, and Estonia all show similar trends. Now, researchers have long used genes to explain variations in intelligence, but this new study points to possible environmental factors like
sodium fluoride. Fluoride is an industrial waste chemical.
Increased levels of fluoride exposure during pregnancy are associated with declines of IQ in children.
Turns out the stuff in common tap water happens to be a sister compound to sodium fluoroacetate, a common form of rat poison.
Fluoride in water is supposed to fight tooth decay, but could it also cause cancer?
According to studies by the Case Institute, the byproduct of phosphate mining, in which they make fertilizer and laundry detergent, is liquid fluoride. So toxic it costs $7 grand a barrel to bury.
The study assesses more than 500 child and mother pairs. It finds for every 1 milligram per liter average increase in fluoride intake by a mother, there was a 3.7 drop in the child's IQ.
Now, in bed with the government, companies can avoid expensive burial costs by diluting fluoride in city water supplies.
And what we need, because of the obvious connection, and I'll try and bring this to the Minister's attention and trace it, is an independent Irish inquiry into whether this fluoridization is actually causing the high rates of cancer, the high rates of cardiovascular disease, and the high rates of diabetes. The fluoride is the cause of these diseases in many cases.
Well, indeed, minute doses directly applied to a tooth may help that bothersome cavity. But in reality, tap water goes directly down the throat and through the body's major organs. Liver and kidneys then receive, ready for this? Lead, cadmium, phosphorus, selenium, mercury, silver, chromium, arsenic, and uranium-238. Radioactive, by the way.
Not only has the ingestion of fluoride been linked to a variety of health concerns, but research increasingly shows that it doesn't even improve our teeth.
Is the fluoride problem a new phenomenon? No. By World War II, farms, cattle, plants, and fish were dying from the toxic byproduct of common aluminum production, sodium fluoride.
One of the first things I did, of course, I gave out lots of free toothpaste. I started reading the label on it. And keep out of the reach of children under 6 years of age. Okay, that sounds reasonable. And adults apply a pea-size amount, and contact the Poison Control Center if you swallow. Well, that in the research literature works out to 1/4 milligram of fluoride. This water here happens to be Chicago water out of the faucet. This contains 1/4 milligram of fluoride. There seems to be a disconnect with me there. Okay, they tell me not to swallow 1/4 milligram of fluoride in my toothpaste, but they're forcing me to swallow 1/4 milligram in 1 glass of water.
He says, do you have any idea what you're saying? And he says, you're telling us that we're reducing the IQ of children. And basically I said, yes.
How does big business get away with dumping this toxic glunk into our city water? Turns out the federal government subsidizes it by giving block grants of up to $100 grand for cities to start adding fluoride to their tap water.
We're developing a society because of all of these different toxins known to affect brain function. We're seeing a society that not only has a lot more people of lower IQ, but a lot fewer people of higher IQ. In other words, a dumbing down, a chemical dumbing down of society. So everyone's sort of mediocre. That leaves them dependent on government because they can't excel. We have these people of lower IQ who are totally dependent. Then we have this mass of people who are going to believe anything they're told because they can't really think clearly. And very few people of very high IQ who have good cognitive function who can figure this all out. And that's what they want. So, you can kind of piece it together as to why they are so insistent in spending so many hundreds of millions of dollars of propaganda money to dumb down society.
And welcome back to Quailzerp Tonight. I am Quailzerp, the interrogator. Gaborkulax, what would you say to Zarnaps who think that humans are a lower life form? They don't even understand a basic interstellar travel, and those things they call hoverboards, well, they don't even hover.
Well, I think I would say...
Oh, this is ridiculous! The notion that we should stop eating humans, experimenting on them, using the one they call Carrot Top in our trouting shows, is ludicrous! Humans are stupid animals that...
Excuse me! If we took an IQ test right now, and I tested above you, would that give me the right to eat you? Or to use you in whatever way I please? Of course not. And it doesn't give us the right to abuse humans. The question isn't how smart they are. We all know that humans are far, far less intelligent than any other species in the galaxy. The question is, are they suffering? There can be no doubt that, yes, they are. And we are making them suffer. And we can stop it. Today. When future Zarnap generations look back on us, do we want them to see us as heartless? Or do we want them to see us as having the 3 hearts we know each Zarnap has? Because when Zarnaps really take a second and think about it, they realize that abusing humans is wrong, just like it would be for any other species.
Huh. Yes.
Just like any other species.